Hi there. Well, I've made videos on the channel about record collecting, earlier days. So, you can find the videos about there if you look for them. And I was thinking that when I was young, I can remember one of my first LPs was a CBS sampler called Rock Machine Turns You On. And it was a grey sleeve and got a very interesting design on that. I think Bob Dylan was on one. Leonard Cohen was on. A lot of very interesting artists that were on CBS. And at the time I bought that, which was from W.H. Smith's, and it would be about 1968. It was 14 shillings and sixpence. Now, most of us at school couldn't really afford to buy many records. I'd got some singles from the 60s, like the Kinks, Dead End Street, and the Surfaris, Wipeout, which I've mentioned before. But I didn't really have many records of mine. My brother, he'd moved into student accommodation, so he took his record collection, the Beach Boys, Dusty Springfield, all these other things that I used to play when he was out. So they went. So I managed with this one LP, and they called them samplers then, and don't do that sort of thing now. So I bought a couple of others. What was it? There was a series on Decca, and I think they did one of John Mayall, and what was another one that I bought was Fill Your Head with Rock, which was a double LP. Can't remember how much that was. It wasn't very much money, but you could get maybe 5 or 6 LPs out your pocket money, over a period of weeks or maybe a month or whichever it was. And the thing was, we went round to each other's houses, and you had the LP under your arm, and you're on the bus, and everybody could see, they'd look across saying, "What's that record you've got?" So sometimes people started up a conversation with you, which was interesting or odd, as the case may be, depending on which bus route you're on. So later on, my mother bought me a copy of this 1968 again, Jimi Hendrix Electric Ladyland. Now I'm talking about the original cover with all the naked ladies on the front. Don't think you can buy that even in CD form with that sleeve. And I know that Jimmy actually hated the sleeve. He was incandescent when he was aware of it, but still, that's another story. That was another one that I had, and slowly over a period of time I managed to get one more, this and that and the other, and I had a Saturday job, so that helped with record collecting. But by and large, most of us only had a handful of records, sometimes expanded by some sampler LPs. Several of my friends, they didn't exactly look after the records, so even though there were samplers, they got scratched, or if they were taken to parties, they get ruined. So I learnt the hard way with that. Never take a record to a party, because it will get wiped out, literally like the Safaris. But in those days, it was quite containable. You just had a small record collection because you couldn't afford to buy any others really. But over a period of time, you get more and more and more. It would have been inconceivable back in those days that many of us would have ended up with collections that were probably much bigger than an independent record store held in the stock. Into the thousands, and of course CDs made it a lot easier. Streaming I do enjoy, because it's handy to check out albums before you pay out the money for them. But let me know what your thoughts are on that, about small record collections, and back in the day, what did you think about having not so many records, but records that you treasure? Over a period of time, I've probably bought too many records as far as somebody else is concerned. But there you have it. Let me know. I'd be interested to know what your views are on it. We just take it for granted these days that we can have big collections or not even have the bother of storage and just stream albums off Spotify or Amazon or whichever service you use. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, tick a like. If you're not subscribed, think about subscribing, and then you don't miss any of these videos. Okay, have a great day.